It's strange how one simple detail like the color of a shirt can completely change the way a woman perceives a man. But it happens, yeah. You're walking through a crowd and your eyes meet someone. You don't know him, but something about the way he's dressed makes him stand out. Clean, confident, and reliable. That's exactly what a white shirt does. It's not flashy, it's not loud, and yet it draws attention in a way that speaks volumes. Welcome back, I'm Anastasia and you're watching Matryoshka Tips channel. And today we're talking about something most men don't think about, but women notice instantly. The way a simple white shirt can make you incredibly attractive. And I don't mean high fashion or designer stuff, I mean the basic, clean, button-down white shirt. There's something psychological about it and it shows up over and over again in surveys, in fashion research, and most importantly in how women describe the men they find most attractive. So let's start with something you may not expect. There is one study in the University of Liverpool where women were shown images of men wearing different colors. Overwhelmingly, the white shirt rated highest for perceived trustworthiness, status, and physical appeal, even when the same man wore different colors. And you know what's even more interesting? The men wearing white were also rated higher in symmetry and cleanliness, even though their faces and bodies hadn't changed at all. It's the shirt that made the difference. Now, let's take a more real-world look at this. Imagine you're going on the first date. You could go with a dark t-shirt and jeans, casual and familiar, right? Or you throw on a crisp white button-down and suddenly you look more put together, more serious, more like someone who plans ahead. And that's the exact impression women pick up on. When you're wearing white, it sends a subtle message that you care about your appearance, that you're organized, clean, and maybe even dependable. It's not loud or trying too hard. It's confident without being aggressive. And here's something even deeper. White reflects light. It naturally draws the eye. So when you're wearing a white shirt in a public place, you tend to stand out literally because your figure is more noticeable. It frames your face, enhances your posture, and can even make your shoulder look broader. In fashion psychology, this is referred to as perceptual enhancement. Clothing doesn't just cover your body, it changes how people perceive your shape and energy. You've probably heard about halo effect. It's a cognitive bias where if someone appears neat and attractive in one area, we assume they have other positive traits too. So when a man shows up in a well-fitted, clean white shirt, people, especially women, subconsciously assume he's also confident, disciplined, and smart. Is that always true? Of course not. But perception matters, especially when we're talking about attraction, and first impressions are often built on visuals before you've even said a word. Now think about situations where women observe you not just socially, but intimately. A woman may not always remember exactly what you said on your first date, but she will definitely remember how you looked, how clean your shirt was, how your scent combined with the fabric, how it made her feel. That sensory memory sticks, and that's where small details like your shirt color or texture suddenly matter a lot more than you think. In fact, studies from the Journal of Social Psychology show that visual cues influence emotional memory, meaning that the way you dress when you first meet her could directly shape how she feels about you later. Let's picture this. I don't know, you're traveling maybe in a city where you don't know anyone and you're not in a suit, you're not trying to impress someone, but you do throw on a white Oxford shirt and walk into a coffee shop. You order your drink, I don't know, glance around and catch a smile from someone nearby. And that interaction, that moment starts because of how you look. Women notice the details. They see if your sleeves are clean, if your collar is sharp, if you look like you take care of yourself. That's the key. It's not about dressing up. It's about looking cared for, and a white shirt does that in the most natural way possible. Now let's talk about contrast. If you have, for example, darker skin, hair, or beard, white adds contrast that naturally sharpens your features. And this contrast draws attention to your face, making you appear more masculine and defined. And that's not a style opinion, that's biology. A 2010 study published in Evolution of Human Behavior showed that facial contrast and grooming significantly influence how attractive and healthy someone appears. And what shirt color helps amplify that? Exactly. white. But it's not just about contrast or attention. There is something symbolic about a man in a white shirt. It evokes a sense of, I don't know, fresh start, of intention, of effort. Not overdone, just intentional. When a man chooses a white shirt, it's like saying, I came here for a reason. I didn't just roll out of bed. And that intent, that clarity is magnetic. Women pick up on that, even if they can't explain why. And of course, not every white shirt is equal. A wrinkled or stained shirt doesn't give you a bonus, it does the opposite. Fit is everything. If the shirt hugs your shoulders right, if the sleeves hit the right point on your wrist and it's long enough to stay tucked if needed, that's the formula. Doesn't need to be expensive, but it needs to look like it fits your body, not like you borrowed it. And one last thing that I want to mention. White makes you more approachable. That's especially helpful in public places like markets, bakeries, libraries, airports, places where women feel relaxed and aren't expecting a loud fashion statement. White gives off a calm, balanced vibe. It's neutral and peaceful. A man in white is easier to trust, and for women that means they are more likely to smile back, respond to a hello, or even start a conversation themselves. It's a low-key psychology in action. So the next time you go out, whether it's a date or casual meetup or even a video call, just remember that you don't need to overthink your style. You don't need a full wardrobe overhaul or to copy what influencers wear. Start with one thing, a clean, well-fitted white shirt. Because sometimes it's not about standing out by being loud. It's about standing out by being clear, calm, and confident. That's it for today, guys. And if you want more support, I invite you to join my Patreon. That's where I share more personal advice and exclusive content, especially if you're curious about meeting women from Eastern Europe or building a real emotional connection online. You can also get personalized advice from me there if you want to go deeper. See you in the next one. Bye!